stove.
It's a perfect fall morning, and make some breakfast, and then work on the boat for a little bit. I don't know why. It's sausage gravy. It's calling my name this morning. This was kind of a spur of the moment decision for breakfast, so I don't have all the stuff I would normally have. That looks pretty good. Some sage, maybe some thyme would also be good. Oh well, this is gonna be delicious. Crushed red pepper. Yeah, lots of paprika, so it doesn't look like it came out of a can. Also a good way to doctor stuff that does come out of a can. Gives it a red hue and tastes rich and smoky. Yeah. Breakfast! You're welcome. You want some salt on your eggs? Because I do.
Sure.
Looks like a pile of barf. Delicious barf! This spout piece that now has these walrus tusks. It's shiny because I polished it. Just takes forever. I'm gonna mark these guys for drilling, then pull this out, drill them, and then we'll over drill them so we can put some thickened epoxy in there and then prime and paint and get them all installed. It's kind of the goal for this weekend. Such a nice day. Okay, so after 90 minutes of polishing, I took these pieces from what looked like this with all these like lateral grooves in it to this mirror finish. The problem is, if you really get down in there and turn on some light, you'll see little scratches and imperfections and one dirty, disgusting fingernail. So I'm hoping that we're really just trying to avoid pit corrosion where salt water gets into a little groove and lives there and corrodes outwards. These are pretty darn tiny microscopic scratches, but they still are there. Anyway, long story short, I hope this will be adequate because I don't know how much better I can do. That was me going from like 120 grit sandpaper all the way down to 3,000 grit sandpaper and then buffing it with a compound. I just hope they're going to hold up. We will be installing them where it would be possible to further polish them later, so I'm not going to let that stop me from moving forward. And if I need to, you guys tell me if I need to do a better job of making that mirror finish, then I will. It might even be easier because they'll be held in place. So it's only a 1/2 inch hole, but I'm going to drill a 1 inch hole because I have a feeling that my holes, despite my best efforts, aren't going to line up perfectly. Anyway, I digress. I got a plan.
All right.
It's going to work.
Good.
I epoxied these in, and I use these crappy old bolts to kind of give me a guide for the bigger carriage bolts that will go on this piece. It looks ugly, but most of this goop is a wax that's designed to make the epoxy not stick to the stainless steel. Helps me get it off because these aren't sealed yet. They're just being glassed in. Check out these down here. These are my deck feel lines, and I put these little glassed collars around them so when they're open and they're being filled up, no errant water will just run into the hole, which would be bad. Gives it a little lip. Although splashing would be a bigger deal. These are less important because they're just for water. Obviously you don't want salt water in there, but back there when we have the fuel fill-ups. We definitely don't want water in there. That would be bad. So I'm gonna get these off and check to see what my holes look like. All right, this might look ugly, but I'm pretty pleased because it establishes the bolt hole path through this guy. And then again, all of this is wax, so any imperfection should just scrape off and then it would be gorgeous and shiny again. That's the idea anyway. So I'm gonna pull this piece off and then we'll clean this up. Add a little epoxy if we need to. And yeah, it should be perfect. Let's get this guy out though. I already got this one out with my hands last night. This one's a little bit more stuck. Oh well, I'll do that later. Look at that, it's our boat.
Yeah, that's our shell of the boat.
How do you do that? Here's our boat.
This is the boat.
That's pretty impressive. I'm a little disappointed there's no rails. Does this live in real time? Is there like a camera on the boat
Yes.
that updates every change I make?
God, I wish there was. There'd be a hole right here.
Shut up.
This is a 3D model I'm calling BIM boat.
Why?
BIM is Building Information Modeling.
Ah.
So it is sort of real-time drafting.
So it's not Korean food.
No.
Okay.
You build it in 3D and then you get lovely 2D drawings out of it. Like, see that cluster?
Yeah. Wow.
It's like all the layers of the things that we've designed and then put into the boat.
That is cool. What is this going to help us do?
This is going to help us build it so we can get accurate information because there's so many curves and heights and weird things about this.
So, okay, so with this, can we do something and see what it's going to look like without actually doing something and see what it looks like?
Yes.
Show me that.
That's the 3D element.
Okay.
So this is the shell. This is the outside.
Okay. Clearly, it looks just like our boat.
Let's spin it. Do a little spin-stee here.
It looks squattier than it seems in real life, but no, that's about right.
Yeah, see? There he is. There he is, folks.
Okay.
So now we're going to go see the port side guts. That's what I called it.
It literally says port side guts.
It does. Hold, please.
Oh,
Here's
wow.
all the inner workings of the boat.
So this is our plans for the boat. So this gives us like a 3D model of what we're planning on doing.
Yeah, shall we zoom in here?
I like it. Hey.
Okay. I have...
Let's start at the tip and work our way back.
Okay, let's start with the V-berth, shall we?
The tip.
The tip. I've
So wait,
spliced-
this is just the tip?
This is just the tip.
Okay.
Yeah. See these lovely built-ins here that you're going to be making somehow?
Yeah, I mean, they're similar to what are already there.
The nice thing about this too is we can see our color options and material options all in one spot.
It's tight, but you can kind of see it. So you got the toilet. This is more of like the bathroom room, and this is the shower room. And right back here is our black water tank. I like how it's black, because that's going to be filled with poo.
Yeah, gross.
We literally have to
there.
carry it around with us.
That's how big it is and everything. This is all fully to scale.
It is, but it's going to be leaned back and contoured
Yeah.
to the shape
Also
of the hole.
imagine, yes, there's a curvature here where it falls into. Here's our shower.
Yeah, it's going to be tight but functional. I like it. Yes.
Okay, this was something we struggled with on paper because it's such a shallow area for a counter, so we were thinking of doing a
Cool little bowl sink. Like really, like all you have to do is spit your toothpaste in there and wash your hands on occasion. I think that'll be great.
Yeah.
We don't need it to be super deep in there.
This isn't
More
even
about-
a crazy bathroom.
It isn't?
No.
The other one's more crazy?
Well, this one's like
Oh,
the best
spoiler alert.
bed. Okay. Moving on.
Alright.
We ready?
Head aft.
Okay. This is the saloon. This is the hangout pad area. So you can see here's where the bathroom ends. This wall here.
So it's a common wall with the shower area.
Correct.
We're moving the pole to where it belongs, right under where the mast lives.
Yeah, right now it's about here.
Yeah,
And now we're shifting over here.
I like it. And then we're gonna have an eating nook here and a nice settee here that can double as a bed for when you're underway. Plus this bed right here will be the longest one there is. So anyone that comes and sails with us that's 6 foot or taller will probably want to sleep there. This table will literally fold up into this wall, and then it can also flatten down and create a bunk in that area. It'll be quite sweet. We're really trying to focus on clever ways of cross-utilizing space. So if you guys have any ideas, let us know. That would be freaking sweet.
And now we're up into the pilot house, which we have turned into a galley.
So right now, this was an old seating area, and where the settee in the saloon is the existing galley. And the reason why we want to move it up into the pilot house is because cooking is such a huge focal point in everything. So we want it to be very, very comfortable for being down there. And we don't anticipate, what am I saying? What am I trying to say here?
I'm not sure.
Is that often the case? Here's the existing galley now. We're going to turn that into a settee because we want to move the galley up to the pilot house where it will be more convenient to the aft deck while we're sailing. We're going to put a pass-through in one of the windows so you can hand food through that or talk to people that are out there. I just think the galley is such a focal point that we want it to where it's going to be the most comfortable and the easiest to utilize.
Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's head aft.
Okay. So, this is the fancy bathroom. These are not glass walls, but just for visibility.
Visual appeal.
Visual appeal, so you can see through here, because it's kind of a tight space, this program, so. There it is.
All parts. It's Monday morning, and I'm going up to check on some progress because I looked at the weather forecast last week and it was supposed to be sunny for the next 5 days. As you can see, they were wrong. This tarp is covering a massive amount of holes from when I removed all the hardware on the back of the boat. The reason I removed the hardware is because whomever installed it, the stanchions, the chain plates, all that stuff, didn't remove the core and fill it with thickened epoxy. So I was going to fix that. And I was going to open up the holes, let them dry out over the next couple of days, and then fill them with thickened epoxy plugs to allow for any moisture that made it past the seal to go into an impermeable surface. As you can probably hear, there's a fan running down here because I took off one day and it downpoured. So now, here in the cabin, it's a little dark because of that tarp. All the windows are gray. But we've got the dehumidifier running and this heater running. I don't think this heater is meant to work this hard, but it's gonna have to because all the wood core when I got back was nice and wet. And obviously we don't want to plug that in because that just seals the water inside, and that's not what I want to do. So I am slowly drying this out and checking on the progress of that today. And then the mission for the week is to fill up those holes with the thickened epoxy once they're dried out, and I might have to use a hairdryer to accomplish that task, but luckily Kelly's around, so I've got one. So it's basically like going back and doing something that should have been done right in the first place. Bulking all the holes, they feel pretty dry, so I'm gonna err on the side of caution and let that go for the next 24 hours. And then we'll tackle plugging those holes. I guess I better go do some work, like for my real job.